Okay, I guess we're live here from Old Town Quilt Shop here in Orchid. Welcome everybody. I'm Michelle and I'll be demoing or showing you tonight. So we'll give people a little opportunity to get on board here and then we'll move on. We have actually quite a bit to show you tonight, so we kind of thought there wasn't going to be, but you know, things change. Things can change in an instant. And they do. So, all righty.
Pan across real quick.
Okay. So Stacy's going to do a little pan across, a little preview of what's to come tonight. Woohoo! So we're going to be showing you some new products, some older things, some Journey to Nebula things, and we'll talk about little interfacing and do a little demo or show you some samples of Aurifil thread in the different weights. So
hi to Tara, Dolores, Melissa.
Okay. All right. So hello to everyone who's on. I guess it's Tara, Dolores, Melissa, probably more, but not everybody says hi.
Jody.
Hi, Jody. Okay. Shall we go for it?
Yep.
All right, so let's start with the new fabric. So we got Uni the Unicorn has been here, and so these three have been here. So the unicorn and the stars and the small flowers, as well as the 5-inch squares. But today the butterflies flew in. So this was the third coordinate. It had been on back order, so this goes with the group. So beautiful butterflies. And this is Uni the Unicorn from Riley Blake. So this is what we have for that, and for that line we have the 5-inch squares and these coordinates. And of course the one has Uni on it. You know, Stacy loves the unicorns. Okay, and then from Figo, a division of Northcott, we got C. Botanica. So these are all obviously C. There's actually still one more that was on back order, and we also have 10-inch squares that are on back order. So here's here's the fabric. So we've got shells, sand dollars, and coral. My mind is a blank. So good thing I have Stacy prompting me. And we're just going to call this, I don't know, little sea anemones or something. All right. So that's C. Botanica. So on the shelf, it's on the C shelf. And to go with that, there is also a rayon. So this is the same line, but this fabric is rayon. And so it's for clothing. So this would be it would make this particular pattern called Summer Jazz makes either a dress, or you can make it shorter and it's a top. So this is very cute and would look really nice in that C. Botanica. And of course the Simple Elegant Tee, which is really the simplest clothing pattern that we have and that we have ever used. And so again, it would look fabulous in the C. Botanica. So those are a couple of, we have other patterns, but that's a couple of choices for this rayon fabric that we have.
54 inch.
It's 54 inches, and for any of these, I think it's like 3 yards or 3.5 yards. Okay, so the last new one is actually, we have some of these others. It's from a line called Urban Legend, and this one is kind of a charcoaly. It's not really black, but it's got that modeling through it. So there we go. All right. So that's the new fabric that came in. Now, one other thing that I wanted to show you while we are doing fabric is that we do have this panel. It's a panel, and it makes these two Halloween treat bags. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Halloween, or certainly if I had a little one, I wouldn't feel comfortable at them going door to door. However, you as the parent or the grandparent or the aunt, the uncle, whatever, could make a treat bag and fill it with you know, a book and, you know, a coloring book, crayons, whatever, a little bit of candy, and it would be something special for them to have for Halloween. So this panel is a 1 yard panel. It's $12.55 and it makes these two. So there's two different ones. So, and they have a front and a back. They're real cute. You can even say who it's from there.
You just need lining fabric.
So you just need lining fabric and
Lard, I don't remember.
but you can use, you know, your scrap batting or, you know, fusible fleece, whatever you want to use. So anyway, that's an idea for Halloween to kind of make it special for those kids that don't get to go door to door trick-or-treating. So you can still make it special. Okay, so let's go on to the Journey to Nebula, which continues. So this one is called Candy Dish. So it makes 2 pillows. You can make just one if you want. So there's instructions in there for both pillows. And you know, a lot of her patterns take either charm or strips. And usually you can use one or the other. And if you read the entire pattern prior to making it, you will realize that you can use, well, in this particular one, it makes a full hexagon, so you can't use a 2.5-inch strip for these. But on a lot of them, you're doing a half hexagon, and you can use a 2.5-inch strip. So you don't have to use a charm pack. You can use scraps. I think Stacy used fat quarters and cut them in, you know, and she didn't use as many, the variety that they had. So some of these are, you know, there's more than one on here of each fabric, but it's fine. You know, it works out fine. So really you can use up your stash. You can use scraps on these. They're just fun to do and they come out really cute. So this particular, you know, pattern gives you kind of the positive and negative version, and you can do either, you can do either one or both. Okay, and this one uses hex and more ruler, but again, if you watch her videos, you can use the other rulers, the Sidekick, Super Sidekick. Okay, and then the other thing that was on Journey to Nebula is this Mini Delight. It's another, well, this is a companion, and it uses the little mini hex and more, which we currently are out of. We've sold out of them, but we will be getting more in. So we have the pattern Mini Delight, and here is the sample. And we've put it on one of the little hangers, which we do sell these Ackfeld hangers. So you can get hangers here at the shop. And if there's a size that you need that we don't have, you can, you know, we can look through what's available and special order it for you. That's fine. So this is the Mini Delight using the mini hex and more ruler. And again, we have that pattern, and we will soon have the mini hex and more ruler. We're just currently out of it. Okay, so any questions on any of that yet? And you can pop in a question anytime. We'll answer them. Okay, so the last new items that we're going to go over are the ruler safes. And if you haven't seen these are fabulous. And you know, they would make a fabulous Christmas gift. So start your list now. Send your Christmas givers here, because you know they're always looking for what is the best thing to get them. What's new? They come in here. My wife quilts, or my mom quilts, or my sister quilts, or whoever. And they have all this stuff. What's something new that they don't have? Well, you may not have the ruler safe. And there's a rectangular one and a square one. So the rectangular one, you kind of feel like James Bond. And in here, our secret compartment. But anyway, it will hold up to an 8.5 by 24-inch ruler. And I believe the literature said that it will hold 10 rulers. So, you know, whatever fits in here. And they have these nice Velcro straps. And if
Really
you were,
tight.
yeah, I don't even know where the end is.
All the way.
Yeah, there it is.
Goes over.
Okay, so they can come out, but they stay in, and especially if you travel or you're, you know, coming here for your, you know, to one of the quilt retreats or classes when we have them. This is a great way to keep your ruler safe. So, you know, I love that. Now the square one, I don't have to do our little Vanna thing here. Okay, the square one, and you know, they both have this nice foam in it. And again, you've got the Velcro, and this will hold, actually we tried it, we're out of the Hexenmoor ruler, but the Hexenmoor ruler, no, we're not out of the Hexenmoor, we're out of the Super Sidekick. But the Super Sidekick fits in here, the Hexenmoor ruler fits in here. Up to a 16.5-inch square ruler will fit in here. We just have a 12.5. But, so, you know, again, very useful, keeps your rulers safe. I mean, by the time you have spent all this money on these rulers and you transport them and drop one, or, you know, it gets cracked in your car, you know, you've paid for the ruler safe. So $69.95 for the ruler safe. Again, like I said, this would be a fabulous thing to put on your Christmas list. We will have them. Now they are on our website. However, you can't click on them to order them online. You're going to have to call, because the shipping, I have no clue how much that shipping is going to be. So we're going to have to, you know, calculate it on a by order basis. So what we would have to do is take your credit card number, we go down to the post office, they tell us how much it's going to cost to ship it to wherever it is you are, and then we'll let you know what that shipping cost would be. So they are on the website, but you would have to call us in order to do an order. But you can come in the store anytime and get them.
They look like rifle and pistol cases.
Oh, yes, and somebody said, you know, they also look like these look like, I don't know, some kind of instrument, you know, cases as well. So
they have different colors.
yes, yes. So you have the blue.
Well, this looks purple, but it really is blue.
Yeah, the blue and the kind of teal. Yeah, I don't know, and the purple, and this is called rose gold. So there really are 3 colors. This is like the oddball. I don't know. I think that the blue is actually, the blue that we get now is this blue. I don't know what happened.
I think those might have been the originals or something.
Yeah, yeah. This one is just a little bit different. So it would be unique if you got that one.
Oh, flip it over, show the bottoms.
Okay, and then the bottom has little grippies on it. They're actually very nice, and they're not heavy. It's not, you know, they look like they would be heavier than they actually are, but they're not heavy, so it's easy to transport, and it's going to keep your rulers safe while you're transporting them. And, you know, in your house, you know, it corrals them all, so you know where they are. So anyway, we thought this was, you know, a fabulous item and would make a fabulous gift. So again, put it on your Christmas list or buy it for yourself, whatever. Okay. All right, so that's the new products. So I think what I'm going to do next is go over the Aurifil. Okay. So we're going to, what I did. Okay, well, we're going to start. It's a carry-on and it fits in the thing. They x-ray it and they see it's just rulers. I mean, those aren't, as far as I know, those are not weapons. Okay. I don't know. Stacy's playing with something.
Well, I don't know. I'm hoping that we have sound. Can you guys hear? Ask if they
Okay.
hear.
Can everybody hear? Because Stacy thinks we lost sound. So if somebody could please reply, yes or no. Yes, we can hear you. No, we're lip reading. So I guess this is our end. Okay, so people come and they've mangled, I don't know what they've done, trying to open this, and they've cut into it. Now the thing that I do is I just, poke into that top part. So just poke in there with something so that you can grab that plastic and open the plastic. Now it's like any other plastic thing, they're a pain in the butt. But once you get the plastic off, okay, so there's no cutting into the plastic other than poking it in the top, all right? Now, you look at it and you think, well, where's the end? How do I get this? And then people start cutting. No, 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 no. You just twist off this bottom. They just twist off. And you don't have to take it all the way off. You're going to see that end there. You can take it all the way off. And there's your end. So you just unwrap it till it gets to there, and then pop that back on.
Or you can put it on the other side.
Yeah. And then when you are done and you don't want that thread roaming around, just loosen it again, put it back under there, and tighten it back up, and your thread is not going to go anywhere. So that's the proper way to open these. Just remember that this bottom part comes off. And that's true of all the sizes except the 80 weight. Okay? So all of them, doesn't matter what color the bottom is, they all come off. So orange is the 50 weight. Okay, so what I did was I did a little demo on my machine of the different weights and what they look like. So the black lines just are lines on there separating the different weights. So this is the 50 weight. So the 50 weight, and in the bobbin on all of these I used the same 50 weight. This same one is the bobbin for all of them. So that's why you're going to see, pokies. But this is just a straight stitch. This is a 2.5 on my machine. And then I did, a fancy stitch. And so this one, goes back and forth a couple times. And what this did, because I had no interfacing or anything underneath, was, it kind of bunched it up. But I just wanted to show the texture of what it looks like with 50 weight. And then I did just a little meandering stitch. And again, this is what it looks like. And this is the 50 weight with 50 weight in the bobbin. Okay, then the 40 weight, which is, trying to remember, is this 28 or 40?
That's 28.
That's 28. So the 40.
Have a 40?
Oh, I guess I didn't bring the 40. Okay, well, oh, here it is. Green. The bottom is green. Okay, and again, just like the others, you can just pop that off and then put that back on to hold your thread. Okay, so this is the 40 weight. This is the straight stitch. This is that same zigzaggy stitch which goes over a couple times. And again, it did the bunched the fabric up. And then this is the wavy line. Now, again, what I just want to point out is I would use 50 weight in the bobbin, but I would match this color. I was too lazy to take the bobbin out and keep. So I used the same color bobbin in all of these samples here. So that's why you're seeing some of that pokey. But again, I would, the 50 weight, I would use 50 weight bobbin. The 40 weight, I would use 50 weight bobbin. The 28 weight, I would use 58 bobbin, or 50 weight bobbin. Okay, so the 28 weight is this one. So it's the gray bottom. And again, this comes off. Now you're definitely going to know that you have 28 weight because this is heavier thread. For this sample, again, I was too lazy, so I just used the same color. And actually on this one, that color wasn't bad for the bobbin. But I also did not change the needle. And I always use a 70. So it actually did go through. I just sewed slower. But I would normally use a 90 for this, a needle that's a 90. So again, the 50 weight in the bobbin, but this is the 28 weight. And you can see you definitely have, you know, more definition. So when you're doing decorative stitches and you really want them to pop, you know, 28 weight is the one to go. Okay, so then with the 80 weight is very fine. So for this, you know, and again, this was the color I had at home, and I don't think these come off. I couldn't get it to come off. So it's very fine. And so again, I did, you know, the same stitches with the same bobbin, but then I did it so that you could see it a little better with a green that was a little closer to the color. So when you use the correct color, you're not going to get those pokies, but it's very fine. People use this to do hand sewing, you know, hand applique, or when you are sewing your binding on, you could use this. Also, when you're quilting, if you're doing micro stippling, so it's really tight, this is a very light thread, so you're not going to get a whole lot of thread buildup. So these are the weights that we carry. So the 80 weight is very fine, the 28 weight is heavy, the 50 and the 40 can be used to piece with. So either one of these you can use to piece with. So if for some reason you can't find the right color in the 50 weight, you can use 40 weight. It's perfectly fine. Whoops, I'm
40, 50, 28.
Line them up
80.
right. Oh, this guy isn't on there at all. Okay. All right, so the 50 and the 40 are kind of interchangeable as far as I'm concerned.
Piecing for 40, you have to be careful because it's a little thicker.
Yeah, it's a tiny bit thicker. It's probably closer to everybody else's 50 weight. Okay, and then the Aurifil 50 weight is probably a little bit finer than everyone else's 50 weight. So, you know, you certainly can piece with that. Just be aware that the thread may be just a little thicker. I would never piece with 28 weight. I would only do decorative stitches or quilting with it. And then the 80 weight, you know, again, I don't think that I would piece with it. It's probably strong enough, but here, we'll put this one here. Looks better. But again, you probably, you know, maybe when you're doing really tiny projects and you really want that thread to, you know, like the Mini Delight, maybe sewing with the 80 weight would have been good. I don't know. I haven't tried sewing with it. I've only done like micro stippling. No, I haven't done hand sewing with it. However, our appliqueurs have used it and give us the thumbs up on those. So it is good thread. So that's a little primer on these particular threads, and particularly how to open it, because we've had people come in and their thread is all cut and they say, well, you know, it's like, what what are we supposed to do with that? So open them correctly, and just remember that the bottom does come off, and that leader, the first part of that thread, is going to be buried under there. Okay, did anybody have questions on that? Covered everything, or we went so fast they can't think? I don't know.
Could be.
Okay, so that's the Aurifil thread primer. Okay, now we were going to talk a little bit about interfacing. All right, so we have a whole lot of interfacing, and this is shear weight, and this is the 906F, so Pellon 906F. Oh, you want to see? Okay.
Yes, so they can see what we're.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, this is a fusible, so it's fusible on one side. This is what I use when I'm stitching things like this. You know, had I ironed this onto the back, I wouldn't get that bunching there. So whenever I do machine applique, and I never do hand applique, so machine applique is the only applique I do, I press this on the back of the entire background piece before I, you know, put my applique pieces on there. And then the shear weight, and again, it probably depends on whether you starch your fabric or, you know, pre-wash, whatever, but it's not real, my needle never gums up. There's not a lot of glue on this, so I actually a lot of times can then just peel it off and cut around the applique, and so there's not, but even when it's left, this is so sheer that you don't know that it's there. So that's what I use shear weight for. Okay. And then the next one is featherweight, and I actually thought featherweight was the lightest because, you know, feather. However, shear weight is lighter. So I have used this one sometimes, but it is definitely heavier. A lot of times these are used, you know, in bags. Bag making uses a lot of these different interfacings, and a lot of them are interchangeable. I know they tell you get, you know, this or that. A lot of times they're just lining the, you know, they're lining the pockets. So again, it depends on how stiff you want that. So it doesn't have to be exactly what they tell you. Usually, you know, it's a recipe. You can substitute. But featherweight is a little heavier than shear weight. So shear weight is what I use for applique. Featherweight I would probably use for, you know, in varying things for bag making, depending on, you know, how stiff you want that. Probably to line pockets, the interior pockets. All right, and then we have the midweight, and that's obviously even heavier than the featherweight. And again, it's used a lot in bag making. Sometimes it's used as the entire lining, but it's not going to be, the bag won't hold up by itself if this is the only interfacing that's in there. So, you know, again, you know, it just depends. Probably some of the, I don't know what they used in the postcards.
Not that. They used a stiff.
They did more of a Decker bond, yeah. Okay, so, you know, again, I don't, it's really, a lot of these are more for bag making. The only one that I use for applique is the shear weight.
Would you use any of these for masks?
No, I would not use any of these for masks. We actually have some sew-in mask lining, and I had always been using muslin as my lining for my masks, and I just used the sew-in that we have, and it's every bit as good as, you know, I mean, I can breathe as well through that as I could with the muslin, so it's perfectly fine. I just don't know what happens with repeated washings with the glue. So even if I were using this in a mask, which I wouldn't because it's not woven, I don't know. I wouldn't, you know, personally I wouldn't use it, and I don't know what happens to the glue, so you would probably still have to sew it. So what is the point in paying for glue that you're not going to use? Besides, you know me, I'm glue. Okay, so this one. Okay, again, this one is primarily, this is shirt tailor and bags. I think sometimes this one was used in some of the Laura Heine ones. Originally, but now I think they use...
No, they use the cotton voile.
I know they use the cotton voile, but yeah, I don't know. But anyway.
And t-shirt clothes.
Yeah, but this, you know, this says for collars and cuffs, it's a little heavier, you know, so it's a little heavier than some of those others. Okay, and then this is the SF 101, and this is actually a woven fabric. So those others are non-woven, and this is woven. And so, you know, again, I think this, you know, it's a lot of it is, you know, we use it a lot in bag making. I'm not a seamstress with clothing, so I'm not as familiar with, you know, what they use this for. I think they probably use it, you know, for the plackets for the buttons. possibly the collars. Anyway, you know, but we here have used it extensively in bags. Okay, so have we confused you enough with the interfacing?
No, not yet. There's some kind of lag going on, and
Oh.
your lips, like
Oh.
Cheryl says, your voice doesn't match your lips.
Oh dear. Well, you know, I'm a ventriloquist and I'm throwing my voice.
Right. Okay, do we want to do the ones over here really quick and then
Okay.
call it?
All right. All right. So one more quickies, couple quickies. Okay. Heat and bond sew-in interfacing. So this is the interfacing for the masks. It's whoops. Oh.
Okay.
So it's you know, it's a light to midweight non-woven. There's no glue on it. It's totally sew-in, and that is all I've ever used it for. We've never used this in a bag. Actually, it's fairly new. So, all right, and then we have the Decker Bond. This is one-sided, and there's a two-sided fusible. Keep forgetting Stacy wants to show these.
Yeah, so they can know what we're talking about.
Okay, so the Decker Bond, and they all have, you know, numbers. This is 809. So this is a heavier one. A lot of times this is used in the bottoms of bags. Sometimes it's used in the straps,
In the sides too.
in the sides. You know, this is a much stiffer interfacing. Okay. And then there's fusible fleece, which can be used as the interior of a bag. It can be used in placemats. What else do we use it for?
Placemats,
Oh,
runners.
sometimes people will use that as the you know, instead of batting on maybe a wall hanging or something like that. It's again, it's fusible. It's a little heavier. It's fusible on one side. Apparently, they do make double-sided, you know, double fusible one. But you know, it's hard to work with those double-sided. You've got to put it in between the fabrics and get it just right and sew it on there. But really, what we use for the for most of the bags so that they hold up well is the soft and stable. So that's more the foamy kind of stuff. So that will hold its shape, and the bags will hold their shape. But usually it's a combination. You've got soft and stable in there. You've probably got some shirt tailor for the pocket linings, and you know,
SF-101.
or SF-101, and the, you know. But again, a lot of those, you know, you just need to feel the weight and, you know, what it is, what you want your finished product to feel like. So
Connie wants to know, do either of you have a favorite bag, pattern, or artist? The one to ask is Dolores.
Yeah, the one to ask is Dolores. But you know, she has made that what's it called?
Essential tote.
The essential tote.
Like 50 of them.
Yes, a number of times, and that is a nice size bag. You know, roomy. It's got a zipper top. You know, I like ones that zip at the top because my bag tends to spill. So, and that one is relatively easy. It doesn't have a lot of fussy things going on, you know, little fussy doodads or anything on it that you have to do fancy stuff. So it's a relatively easy bag. So the essential tote is probably, you know, one of the favorites.
Some of the Biani bags are.
Yeah, and the
Lazy Girls.
The Biani and Lazy Girl. I don't know who makes the essential tote. I don't remember. But you'd think we would know because we've sold a bazillion of them.
Dolores
But
says Margot bag is great.
oh, the Margot bag, that's another good one.
And that's a Lazy Girl.
And that's a Lazy Girl Designs. So, you know, Biani and Lazy Girl Designs, you know, they are well-written patterns and easy to follow. So the only thing with biennias. I think they get a little wordy, but you know, you just have to read a lot. Okay, any other questions?
Not so far.
All righty, well, even though we don't get to see you, I hope that you enjoy seeing us, or me anyway. I guess we can see us if I come around and...
Well, they saw me last week.
All right, Stacy says no, you saw her last week, so she's, you know, saying adios to you all. Okay, so thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
Bye.